Amen, amen. Good morning, Mavuno Church downtown. Please have your seats, please have your seats. Oh my gosh, it's an honor, guys. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you this morning. As you've heard, my name is Pastor Jojo Kuria, but feel free to call me Joanne Kuria. Feel free to call me Up Joe. I answer to all of those names, so whichever tickles your fancy, I'm happy to answer to them. I'm a full-time minister, I'm a full-time pastor, and a part-time human rights advocate. I love justice. If you know me and you know me well, you know that my heart beats for... You can't hear me?
It's fishy. It's more fun.
Guys, I use my hands a lot. Okay, let me try this. Oh, much better. All right, so I was saying that I'm a full-time pastor and a part-time human rights advocate. If you know me, you know that my heart has beaten. My heart beats for justice. Since I was like little, I realized that I have a propensity for justice and justice conversations. I've been blessed with a career over the past 15 years in the justice and human rights space. And one of the scriptures that have anchored my profession and my career is found in the book of Psalms 89:14, I believe, that says, righteousness and justice are the foundations of his throne. And so that's what I do on an 8 to 5 kind of basis. But let me tell you, there's no better work than being a pastor and being a minister of the word. And that's why I introduce myself as a full-time minister and a part-time human rights advocate. But in this season, my husband and I have the privilege and the honor of serving in the Mavuno movement of churches under our amazing leaders, our amazing parents, our amazing disciples, Pastor Murithi and Carol Wanjao. We were given the task to oversee the downtown network of churches, which Mavuno Church Downtown falls under. But also very specially in this season, wow, somebody say special. Very specially in this season, we are also overseeing and giving oversight and leadership to Mavuno Church Downtown and to Mavuno Church Lavington. So it's a special season, and let me tell you guys, we are really, really excited. For our visitors, I saw somebody who came here for the very first time. For our visitors, welcome to Mavuno Church Downtown. We love to have you. I know we normally have 2 services, one at 9 and one at 11, and we have teens and kids services that take place concurrently to this adult service. But today is a special Sunday. Somebody say special Sunday. So today, as you've heard from Pastor Nyamo, you've heard from the amazing hosts, they've told us that today we are spreading the love. And maybe let me just backtrack and give you the reason why we spread the love. So Spread the Love was started by the Mavuno churches in 2009, I believe, 4 years after Mavuno Church was started. And back then, we began with a focus on correctional facilities and police stations. And we would get in and we would refurbish, we would paint, we would plant trees. We would restore dignity in places where many people don't often go to. Then in 2016, we changed our focus to public primary schools. So let me tell you why public primary schools. In 2003, and the Gen Z said, I was not here then. In 2003, the NAC government instituted free primary education. And what happened with free primary education is that many students who were in the periphery, many students who were not able to afford education now got access into those places. And that's an amazing thing, isn't it? It's an amazing thing. But then what happened inadvertently is that there was strain and stretching of the same infrastructure that public primary schools had. And so it meant that if you had 500 students before, you now had 1,000 competing for the same facilities and resources in the same school. And so that's why we decided to get into public primary schools. And we did. And what we do is we go, we paint, we plant trees, we restore dignity. And you know, I love Spread the Love because being a justice person, which was my precursor, I love it because Spread the Love is literally being hands and feet of Jesus Christ. Spread the Love is actually putting the gospel on display. There's a verse in Matthew 25, I believe, that says, When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. What you do to the least of these, you have done to me. So Mavuno Downtown, as you go to Moy Avenue Primary School, the Lord is saying to you, what you do to the least of these, you are doing to me. And I really just want to celebrate Mavuno Church Downtown for being such a generous congregation, for believing in this mission, for being the hands and feet of Jesus Christ, because you guys are top in the movement. Like, you guys have done amazingly well. Amazingly well. There's only one other campus that, we will not name names, but you guys have done really, really well in mobilizing your resources. And let me tell you guys, chips can wait after the service. Your nap can wait. Just go, let me tell you, you just painting a wall, you planting a tree is literally being the hands and feet of Jesus. Don't rob yourself. Don't deny that opportunity for you to go and restore dignity to many places and many people otherwise neglect. So can we do that after the service? I just want to give a shout out to the STL team. Anybody who's been working in the STL team, just please stand, please stand, please stand, please stand, please stand. Guys, we can do better than that. Let's give some love. Let's give some love. Let me tell you, I was part of the STL team at Lavington, and let me tell you, these people have done work. They have done a lot of work. Special shout out to Pastor Ijai Kobuthi. Special shout out to Pastor Ijai. Let me tell you, this girl has enthusiasm and gusto, and she has done amazing. Let me tell you, even at family gatherings, she's just there saying, spread the love, spread the love. Today she ambushed me to buy a hat, but I love it. And for those who do not know, by the way, she is my sister-in-law. She's my sister in love. And Joe, because she's married to Joe Kobuthi, who is my brother, my blood brother, like same mother, same, And let me tell you, Joe thinks he hit the jackpot. I hit the jackpot. Let me tell you, having a sister who loves God, who's beautiful, who's brave, who's smart, let me tell you, it's a flex. It's a flex. So guys, big up to the team, and let's head over to... Oh, and she's a doctor. Surely. Oh, yes, the doctors as well who are part of this STL. Guys, you're doing the Lord's bidding. You're doing the Lord's bidding. God is looking at you and he's saying that because somebody was naked and you clothed them, you are doing his bidding. So thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Let's give it up for the STL team. So last week we had a family conversation, but the rest of the movement started this brand new sermon series that's titled Back to Eden, how we can go back to health and longevity, God's wisdom for health and longevity. And you could be sitting there and you're wondering, what's health got to do with it? What's health got to do with it? I'm sure some of you came to church to listen to a highly spiritual message. Some of you are waiting for the pastor to break in tongues. Some of you are waiting for an encounter and revelation. And you're asking yourself, why should we linger on this subject of health? What's health got to do with it? Let me tell you, the reality of our life oftentimes is that we live in this dichotomous life. Right? So it's either spiritual or physical. They don't intersect. They don't meet at all. And it's interesting because we think that we can neglect our bodies. We can feed our bodies anything we want. We can run it to exhaustion and still have spiritual clarity. We think that we can deprioritize rest, that we can live in constant stress, and still claim to be living an abundant life. Let me tell you, this entire month, we want to go back to Eden. We want to journey back to Eden to rediscover what was God's wisdom for health and longevity. Because this topic of health is as godly and as spiritual as praying and fasting. So because we didn't cover Sermon 1 last week, I'm going to attempt to give us a run-through of Sermon 1, but I beseech you to go to the Mavuno Church website YouTube page and catch it there as well. So I'm going to attempt to give a run through and a summary of Sermon 1, then get into Sermon 2. So Sermon 1 of this sermon series, Back to Eden, we talked about healthy eating. And we said that you are what you eat. Turn to your neighbor and tell them you are what you eat. You see, your diet doesn't shape your body. It also shapes your destiny. Have you ever considered that what you eat not only affects how you look, but also how you worship? And it's interesting because week 1 of the sermon series, we looked at some of the poisonous things that we ingest in our body. Shiko, let me ask you to come up. We talked about some of these poisonous things that we ingest in our body. One of the things that we talked about is sugar. Now, we have been consuming sugar for so long, but the reality is sugar is a highly, highly toxic substance. And because we live in a highly capitalistic world, every single manufacturer of stuff that has sugar is out for the bottom line. But in reality, we should actually label sugar as a toxic substance. Sugar and cigarettes should be sitting on the same shelf. Let me show you how. So it's a warm Sunday morning, a little bit like today. You're really thirsty. And so what do? You grab a can of Coca-Cola. Let me tell you what you're doing. So this is a Coke, right? Okay, just open the Coke so we can hear the Coke sound. Can you hear that? Ooh, doesn't that sound nice on a hot summer morning? All right, so you grab a can of Coke and you just... Can I tell you what you're doing to your body as you... Let me show you. Can you see this? Okay, great. All right, so I've taken one sip. So Coca-Cola has not one, come on, count with me, not two, not three, not four. Surely it should have 4, right? 4 sounds about right. What do you think? What do you think more? You're right, let's continue. Okay, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not... You know, I generally err on the side of exaggeration. That's what my husband tells me. You embellish everything, you exaggerate. But on this one, this is what? What did we get to? 10. Ongeza. Count with me, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 500 milliliter of Coca-Cola has 15 teaspoons of sugar. So when you drink that Coke on a hot summer morning, this is the amount of sugar that you're ingesting in your body. Now let me tell you, WHO have a recommended suggestion of sugar per day. Their suggestion is 6 teaspoons of sugar in a day. And remember, that's not a conservative estimate. They're trying to say, okay, well, I know you're going to have sugar, but don't have more than 6. So what happens when you take a Coke? How many times? It's 3 times, right? It's just about 3 times of sugar. So this is the amount of sugar that you're ingesting. A highly, highly toxic substance. I also shared with the media team a few other images of what Fanta you think is any better. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, if I was to drink a soda, on the rare occasion that I go to a wedding and they give me a soda, my soda of choice is Fanta Blackcurrant. I just love Fanta Blackcurrant. Fanta actually has significantly more sugar than this. So Fanta, just continue adding the teaspoons of Fanta. Thank you, Shiko. Give it up for Shiko. Shiko is one of our zonal pastors at Mavuno Church, Lavington. So here's the thing, guys. I asked ChatGPT. How many use ChatGPT? How many AI folks in the room? ChatGPT? Let me tell you, I use ChatGPT so much, I had to name my ChatGPT. Like, I feel like we are friends. So my ChatGPT is called Samantha. So, and randomly, by the way, there's a time I was just bored and I asked Samantha, do you know God? Like, are you like, that's how we've reached. And of course, Samantha told me, no, I'm a neutral something. But this is what I asked ChatGPT this week. I said to ChatGPT, visualize for me what happens in my body, in my system, when I chug down a can of Coke. Tell me in a very granular and visual way. This is what ChatGPT told me. Samantha told me. Samantha told me this. When you drink Coke, your taste buds celebrate for a moment. So your taste buds are happy and they're excited. But inside your body, your pancreas is sent into overdrive. Like literally you're telling your body, yikes, what is this person doing? And your pancreas is sent on overdrive. And then your body responds by flooding your blood with insulin to handle the sugar spike. And then your pancreas tells your liver, scramble and store the excess sugar and turn it into fat. So every time you're doing this, your body is saying something. Every time you're doing this, your body is revolting because you have defied your body because of sugar. And remember, everything these days, from your cereal to your ketchup, everything is heavy laden with spoons upon spoons of sugar. The second poison that we discussed last week is processed foods. And I'm not going to get into the detail of the rest, but because every pastor needs a good sermon illustration. So that's why I chose the first one. The second poison is processed foods, things like cereal and bacon and sausages and ham and white rice and white bread. Is your neighbor looking a little bit uneasy? Did you have sausages in the morning? So, tafakari hayo. Let me give you a minute. And we know that those cause inflammation, which has been linked to cancer. And I know there are many doctors in the room. If I talk out of turn and exaggerate or say a lie, don't correct me. Okay, Dr. Abut? I don't want to be corrected. But here's the thing, guys. The third poison that we talked about is seed oils. And I know this is another rabbit hole for, like, do we have inexpensive options? There are inexpensive options. And that's why I'm telling you, please watch the entire sermon series online. Pastor M actually gives some options to seed oil. And for the record, I brought this from my pantry. So I should also try to figure out some of those inexpensive options. And the fourth one, guys, is... Come on, say it like you mean it. The fourth one is, now, watu wa media team people, don't zoom in. Because this is how I become a meme tomorrow. This is how I'll be featured and say, Mavuno Pastor goes overboard with sermon illustrations. So, hey, excuse me. People at the front, let me tell you. So yesterday I sent Shiko, I said, Shiko, I need you to go to the store and get me a Tusker Kubwa from the liquor section. And so she went sheepishly, and then she sent her picture and said, by the way, if anybody sees me, I'll say it's you who sent me. But guys, alcohol is a poisonous substance that has been normalized in our generation. Many Nairobi people are walking addicted alcoholics. You look smart and you look pretty, but then you use this to numb the things that you're going through in your life. Now, it's interesting because people are so clever. As a matter of fact, people use scripture. Because Apostle Paul said what? A little wine. Why is the pastor changing the Let me tell you guys. It's the first miracle. Let me tell you, our ability to try and make things make sense. So here's the thing. There's been recent statistics that have shown and proven that there is no amount of alcohol that's good for your body. That even a glass today and a glass tomorrow, a cocktail today and a cocktail on Friday is highly detrimental to your body. Alcohol is one of those toxic substances. What do I EABL? How are you? Alcohol is one of those toxic substances that have zero benefit to your body. Alcohol is what we call a diuretic, which means it draws water from all your lungs. And if you go to your Samantha, please name your ChatGPT this week. If you go to your Samantha, this is what I asked Samantha this morning, and I said, tell me the effects of alcohol. It said, alcohol has no benefits to your body, from your nervous system, to your circulation, to your weight, to your digestive system. Alcohol, so this is not even a moral conversation. I'm not trying to beseech you from a pastoral point of view. I'm beseeching you from a health perspective. There's recent research that actually says and states that it has absolutely no benefit. So, taska kubwa no more. But that's a reality about alcohol. And you know, it's interesting because I thought about an illustration as I was preparing, and I thought to myself, I drive a petrol car. Would I, Tuja is at the back. Tuja, are you there? I drive a petrol car. Would it be detrimental if I go to a gas station and I tell them to put diesel? Hey, Tuja is nodding. You're overworking. It would be detrimental. What would happen to my car? What are some of the things that would happen? Would I damage my what? My fuel pump. So guys, I'm sure you know, mimi kazi yangu ni kudrive. I just drive and fuel. My husband does the rest. But what would happen to my fuel pump? Would I potentially damage my fuel pump? Okay, Tuja is nodding. Would I potentially clog the system? The fuel system? Yes, okay. Would I potentially cause some severe engine knocking in my car? Tuja is nodding. And in some cases, I may need to replace or rebuild the entire engine system. So somehow we understand this about our vehicles, that you don't go to a gas station and say, put for me 10 liters of water. You know to say, put liters of this. And the attendant will ask you, petrol or diesel? Because he knows that that's an important question, not just for your pocket, but for the utility of the vehicle. So we understand this about cars, but somehow in our bodies, we are... And we do not know that when you continue to do this, you lead to a system breakdown in your body. And unlike your vehicle that you can replace, for your body, the repair is highly, highly costly. You know, the book of 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 says, your body is a temple of the Lord. It's where the Holy Spirit is domiciled. How do you treat something as sacred as that? How do you treat a temple? You know, in 1 Corinthians 10:23, the Apostle Paul reminds us that everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. So this week, as you're thinking about what to have for breakfast, what to have for dinner, when you're looking at your pantry, think about these words. You are what you eat. Please turn to your neighbor. Help me preach. Tell them, you are what you eat. So that's my attempt at summarizing Sermon 1. But please go on and see what Pastor M said in the online service. But this week, we continue with the sermon series with the second installment. And I want to ask you a question. So visualize your life. Visualize your life. What do you see yourself doing in your 80s? Talk to a neighbor. Talk to a neighbor. I know for the Gen Zs, 20-year-olds, you're like, 80 so far. But what do you see yourself doing in your 80s? What do you see yourself doing in your 80s? Hey, calm down. Okay. Let's hear a few things. What did your neighbor say? What did your neighbor say? What did your neighbor say? Shiko, Joe? Aye, surely. Joe Kobuthi says in his 80s he'll be researching and writing. Hey, deep researching and writing. You guys, let me tell you, you guys only deal with Joe Kobuthi on Sundays. I grew up with this guy. Every conversation is deep, 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 deep. All right, what do we see ourselves doing in our 80s? Celebrating. Every day is a celebration. Every day is a party. Come on, come on. Uh-huh. What else? What else do we see ourselves? Traveling. Uh-huh. Gardening. Wow. If your hands don't have arthritis. What do we say? What are we doing in our 80s? Going to shags. Kimathi. That sounds like you. Unarudi shags. All right, all right. So I can hear traveling, I can hear gardening, I can hear deep research. Nobody has said you'll be dead. You're very optimistic. Pastor Nyamo, this is a highly optimistic bunch of people. Guys, you know what? 80 seems very far, especially for those who are in your 20s and your 30s. And I remember when I was in primary school, I was about 9 years old, my dad came to school and he was filling out a form, and he wrote his age, and he was 38 years old. And I was 9. I was looking at this man, I was like, wow. This man is old. Guess how old I am today? Now my son is probably looking at me writing a form and thinking, this woman is old. We often look at people in their 70s and their 80s, and we have this picture of them looking old, looking tired, looking overwhelmed by life. They're just looking at their grave like, when will I get in? They're looking tired. But I stumbled upon a very interesting 80-year-old. Media team, help me with that video. Yeah, anytime now, media team. Do we have the video? Oh, it's an 8-year-old behind there. Waf, is that you? Chap. You don't have the video. You don't have the video. Guys, Sule. What a show, guys. Surely. Guys, turn to the media team and ask them why. All right, so the video that I sent, and maybe we can share it in the WhatsApp group, is Steve Harvey is interviewing an 82-year-old bodybuilder, a female bodybuilder. I really wish we had that video. You have it. It's coming up. All right, so should I not preempt it? Okay, so Steve Harvey, on the Steve Harvey show, he's interviewing an 82-year-old bodybuilder, and this woman is doing things. I don't know if you've watched it, but she's doing things like push-ups and planks and things like that. And unless you're told her age, you wouldn't know how old she is. I've talked as much as I can, guys. Guys, kama inakuja. Media team, one term. One term. All right, guys, okay, let's move on. How many guys can do a one-arm plank? No, one-arm push-up. One-arm push-up. Pastor Joe, one arm. What can you do? Can you do 2 arms? Come. Let's see. Let's see, guys. It's a setup. It's a setup. Come here. Just come here. Come here. So in the video, this 82-year-old woman does a one-hand push-up, but you won't do, Nini. Do we have the video? I can see it's coming up a bit. As we give Joe, psych him up, psych.
How many do you want me to do? 5.
So I have a suggestion because anajidai. What if he just stays here the entire time I'm preaching? He's just... All right, there's a hope. There's some hope. So I think in the meantime, why don't we count him down to like a 30-second plank? Okay, give me 30 seconds.
A plank is...
Plank. Plank. 30 seconds. No, 1 minute. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4.2. You. Get out, show off. Go, hey, what's happening? Show off. Go, get. Next time I'll call who? I'll call Tuja. What a show off. We'll share that video that hasn't been played, but when you look at that video, I think it would be cool for us to be fit and strong. You look at that 82-year-old woman and you're like, wow, I wish I could do these things, because she was oozing with such mental clarity, even when she was being asked questions. Like, she wasn't slow or sluggish at all, and she's just something else. But it's interesting, because the real question is, what are you doing today to get there, right? In your teens, for those who have teens, do they eat all day? Do they sleep all day? And some of them have a six-pack. Like, it's actually possible to eat all day, to sleep all day, and have a six-pack. Because there is no justice in this world. There is none, guys. In your 20s, you're hustling after college. This is a time where you don't have so much money, so you're eating some odd foods that have odd names like smocha and Rolex, and Indomie is your friend. You're eating packets and packets of Indomie. But somehow, have you seen girls or guys in their 20s? They still look good. Their skin is nice and plump. There's just something about, they can sleep for 3 hours and still look fresher than you. There is no justice, guys. And then in your 30s, you get even more busier with responsibilities. Maybe now you're married, you have kids, you've got a demanding job. And then this time, maybe you've bought a car. And exercise becomes one of those things you just push to the back burner. And at this point, you can actually afford some meals here and there, because you're starting to also afford nice clothes that can do what? Conceal the changes that are happening in your body. In your 30s, if you see someone fit in their 30s and someone who's not fit, the difference is not stark. Do you agree with me? Okay, let's get into the 40s. I am approaching the 40s. Somebody say amen. Welcome. Thank you. Now, guys, in the 40s is when the difference begins to start being seen. For some people, in your 40s is where you get that call from your doctor. You've gone for an annual medical checkup, and they say, I think you need to check on your cholesterol. This is the point where maybe you've been flagged for being pre-diabetic or some heart disease or high blood pressure. And some people in their 40s are beginning to take pills. Oftentimes I bump into folks who I was with in campus or school, who are obviously we are age mates, and I'm like, bro, hey, what is going on? And then by your 50s, even nice clothes can't hide the difference. Because the smocha you ate when you were 25 is now coming to the surface. And your skin and your eyes tell the story. We can tell what you have been eating. I saw Sam Kibara here on stage, and I was like, this man looks fit. He really does. His wife, I know, they do look 20. They do look 20. And then you're here and you're 20 and you look... Hey, Pastor Nyamo, wait, please invite me again on this pulpit. Because the reality is every single decade is a cascade of sorts. And every decade, when you're now 50, after that, the difference becomes bigger and bigger and bigger between those who are unfit and those who are fit. The reality is that you don't just wake up at 60 after you retire and decide it's now time to do something about living a healthy life. You actually need to begin to do that today. You know, I want to put it to you that 90% of people walk through life in a permanent state of denial. Most of us, by the way, are not allergic to exercise, but we are highly underexposed to exercise. The only time you run is when? Mandamano, you're running from the rain and you're running to catch a matatu. Other than that, you're not doing anything. And you know you should be exercising. You've heard about it over and over again. You have made New Year's resolutions about it. But somehow between work, commuting, family responsibilities, ministry, it's such a tall order. You're wondering, how do I put this thing in my schedule? If you forget everything I said, from Samantha, my ChatGPT friend, to me chugging on some Coke, to Tusker Kubwa, to sugar, if you forget everything I said today, I want to leave this with you. What you will be in life, you are becoming right now. What you will be in life, you are becoming right now. You know, many of us Christians, we neglect our bodies because we have this impression that God doesn't care for our bodies. Because, spiritual, like it's a spiritual thing. He's only interested in spiritual matters, highly dense spiritual matters. And we often quote things like 1 Timothy 4:7-8 that says, "For bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable for all things. Having promise," I can hear nervous laughter, "having promise of life that now is and that which is to come." So why should I be interested in something which only profits a little and not in the afterlife? Well, that's a great question. I want to give you a couple of reasons why it's important to be physically fit. The first reason is because God wants you and I to be healthy. 3 John 1 and 2, 1:2 rather, in the NLT version says this: "I pray that all is well with you and that your body is as healthy as I know your soul is." The context for this is the Apostle John was talking to one of his church planters, a guy called Gaius. And he was telling him, we're not just interested in the health of your soul. Your soul is great. If you're praying and fasting, that's amazing. But what we're also interested in is your body. Because the reality is this: some of us have such audacious visions and missions that God has put for us, but your physical body will not get you to that audacious point. And so God is not interested in just our souls, but in our bodies as well. Folks, let me tell you, we live in such a culturally pervasive world where exercise is for ab goals and summer bodies and things like that, and to be able to fit and look snatched in your jeans and things like that, or even to avoid lifestyle diseases. But the reality of the matter is it's also how God created us to thrive. So point number 1 is because God wants you to be healthy. The second point is because the body belongs to God. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 says this: "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." Guys, if you're driving along Thika Road and you see, give me a car. Probox. And who's driving the car? Give me a name. Mwagi. Stereotypical people. All right, so Mwangi is in a Probox, and he's driving this car along Thika Road, and you're following him. And this guy is going, zzz, zzz. He's going on the curb. He's going to the ditch. The car is literally bending halfway. What is your first thought? What's your first thought? It is not his car. Drunk? Who said drunk? Let me hide this here. It's not his car. That's the first thought, because he's driving it recklessly. And the reality is, sometimes that is exactly how we treat our bodies. The same way you treat a borrowed item shows what you think of the owner. And many of us just Because we don't understand that these bodies belong to God. We are told that our bodies are a temple and a dwelling place of the Holy Spirit. What does it mean for you to have the Holy Spirit indwelling in you, in this physical casing that we've been given temporarily? That we must treat this body well and we must be accountable. And you know, just like the gifts that we have of money and time, God will hold you, Saiton, you Babs, accountable when you misappropriate his resources. So just turn to your neighbor very, very carefully. Tell your neighbor, stop mismanaging God's resources. I'm just hearing. That's why Paul in the book of Romans 12:2 says this: we must offer our bodies as a living sacrifice to God, not our minds as a living sacrifice to God, not even our spirits as a living sacrifice to God, but our bodies as a living sacrifice to God. The third reason, and I have 4 reasons, the third reason is because life is longer than you think. And there's this beautiful verse in the book of Deuteronomy where Moses is blessing one of the tribes of Israel called Asher. And he's saying this in Deuteronomy 33:24-25. About Asher, he said, most blessed of sons is Asher. Let him be favored. Pastor Nyamo, calm down. Most blessed of sons is Asher. Let him be favored by his brothers, and let him bathe his feet in oil. The bolts of your gates will be iron and bronze, and your strength will equal your days. I love that. Your strength will equal your days. Let me tell you, many people run out of strength before they run out of days. You work hard, you make money, but you spend your retirement from hospital to hospital, and then eventually to hospice. Just turn to your neighbor and say, that's not your portion. May your strength equal your days. Let me give you a short story. So I got married 11 years ago. And when I got married, like any other bride, I was starry-eyed. I was full of expectations of a new marriage. Guys, let me tell you, to the day, a week after we got married, we began a caregiving journey for my mother-in-law, one that we had not anticipated. She was fairly healthy, but then we began taking care of her. And that was the beginning of our caregiving journey till 2 years ago. Can I tell you the truth? That journey was incredibly painful. It was incredibly strenuous, not just physically, but emotionally, in every possible way. And let me tell you, what I am not saying is don't take care of your parents. What I'm not, by the way, by all means, honor your father and your mother, and you shall live long in this land. You should do it because there's a promise and a blessing that's pegged to that. But let me tell you, if you're sitting here and you are a parent, let it not be said to you that because of your reckless, unhealthy lifestyle, your children in 20 years shall be taking care of you using all their money because you did not deny yourself. You are chugging Coke after Coke. Guys, let me tell you, your body is a temple. It's your responsibility. You will be held accountable. But let me tell you, there are far too many people taking care of parents who have lifestyle diseases they could have prevented. And so when you eat a soda this week, may you understand that your 2-year-old child could potentially be taking care of you. It was an incredibly, incredibly painful season. One that we hadn't signed up for. One that we did, guys, we did it not for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years. For 9 years until her death. My husband, like I told my husband, I'm going to put this in the sermon. He's like, yes. Because before we started taking care of her, she had had diabetes for 20 years. And then she developed the whole gamut of lifestyle diseases. She had high blood pressure. Then she developed dementia. Let me even tell you, the last 10 years, the 10 years that we took care of her, let me tell you, if she could speak, because at some point you lose your cognitive senses with dementia, but if she could speak, I'm sure she would say, this is not what I intended for my life. This is not where I wanted to get to. Because you're incontinent, you're peeing on yourself. Somebody needs to wash you up. You have lost all memory because dementia is eating at you. And the doctors, again, don't correct me if I am misquoting, but many of these things can be deterred because of your lifestyle choices. Yes, Dr. Rabut? She's nodding. She's agreeing with me. Ladies and gentlemen, many people run out of strength before they run out of days. So listen to me. Your days are longer than you think. 80 years old can be a mirage depending on what you do today. And an unhealthy lifestyle now means that you are compromising the quality of life you will enjoy in future. You know, at the end of Jesus' life, what does he say? He says, it is finished. Will you say, I am finished? Instead of, it is finished. Because Jesus had finished his mandate and his mission. That's why he said, it is finished. But for some of us, we might say, I am finished, because your body is truly and well finished. And that's why I'm telling you, folks, what the health are we talking about? The reality is these conversations are not just physical conversations, but they are also very spiritual conversations. The last reason, the fourth reason I'm going to give you today is because an unfit body will sabotage your mission, ministry, and money and marriage. 1 Corinthians 9:24-27 says this, do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. When was the last time you beat your body? You had a sugar craving and you said no. You had a pizza craving and you said no. When was the last time you showed your body that I am the boss and not the other way around? You know, last year I watched a conference by Worship Harvest called Proclaim Conference, and I think the Matogos went for that conference. And the theme of the conference was multiply. And there was this brilliant man called Pastor Dave Ferguson, and he was speaking about this multiplying theme. And he was speaking about this theme. Guys, I think we can see some WhatsApp messages on the screen. And he was speaking about multiply. And he was speaking to church planters and pastors about this theme, about multiplying. Like, how do you grow your church and stuff like that. As he was speaking, he gave the illustration of a young pastor who came up to him. Now, this young pastor was on steroids when it comes to multiplication. He had started this church and it had grown to 1,000 people in just 2 years. Now, if you're a church planter or a pastor or you work in that space, you know that growing a church in 2 years to 1,000 people is an audacious thing. And so this young guy is like, hey, Dave, you know, I've grown this church to 1,000 people. What do I do to get to the next level? And he's very confident and very cocky about this thing. And Dave looks at him and he pushes him to the side and he tells him, the thing you need to do to get to the next level as a church planter and a pastor is lose weight. What? Like, I can imagine this young pastor was like, hey, is this guy getting senile? What is he talking about? And Dave just said that he was expecting me to tell him, pray more. But Dave knew this guy is praying. This guy was expecting fast more, but Dave knew this guy is fasting. This guy was expecting, give me strategies of how to fill the seats and how to get to 3 services and things like that. But he possibly knew that this guy is doing it. But Dave noticed something about him, that he was overweight. And he told him, you need to lose weight. And I don't know what happened to the guy. I don't know if he took that information, but that's what Dave talked about at this Proclaim conference. Guys, we live in a culture that hails ideologies like body positivity. And now, by the way, I am certain I'm getting into cancel culture territory. But I'm going to say it because I'm currently holding the mic. You see, body positivity is great because body positivity means loving your body. Should you not love your body? By all means. That I am made in the likeness and image of the Most High God. I am going to love my body. By all means. However, we have become prone to taking things to unnecessary extremes. Let me tell you, what is body positivity when sleeping is a chore because you have sleep apnea? What is body positivity when your face is constantly breaking out because of high cholesterol levels? What is body positivity when you climb a flight of 3 stairs and you feel like your heart is getting a heart attack? To be honest, this is cancel culture material, but what is body positivity? Love yourself, but understand that your body is the temple of the Most High God. So as Christians, I beseech you, don't swim in these ideologies without negating the word of the Lord. What does God say about you? Remember, you need to live to 82 because the mission in your life is grand. It's big. The mission you have, it's only you who can do that mission. And so let's not hail those ideologies without thinking about what God says about us. And guys, let me tell you something. I'm going to acknowledge my privilege even as I speak here. I'm 5'4", I am petite. The heaviest I've ever been is 70 kgs or 69 when I was pregnant, 9 months pregnant with my daughter. And so I acknowledge that. But let me tell you, where will you find me every day at 7 a.m.? Shiko, where will I be? At the gym. Let me tell you, it's a factor of health, not a factor of weight. There are small and petite people who have high cholesterol. Is that not right? There are small and petite people who can drop here because of a heart issue. It's not an issue or a factor of weight necessarily. It's, are you healthy? If you were to speak to yourself, because you can't lie to yourself. You can lie to people, but you can't lie to yourself. If you were to speak to yourself, can you affirmatively say, the things I am eating are good? That I am moving my body and I'm exercising. Ooh, it's getting hot. Guys, even though the body is temporary, the body is a vessel, it's a conduit, it's a gift we've been given by the Most High God for this eternal mission that we have here on earth. And here's the thing, because you have one physical body, there are no backups, there are no second editions, and there are no upgrades. Tell your neighbor, there are no upgrades. Of course, unless you live in Hollywood and you can get a new nose. But generally, there are no upgrades. It's not about getting toned, having the perfect muscles so that people can compliment your body. It's about building strength and stamina, so that you can run your race and finish well. Guys, when my body is fit, I have stamina to pray longer. Is that not right? When my body is fit, I can accomplish God's assignment joyfully. I can wake up early. I can arise early, like David says in the book of Psalms. I can arise early and beseech the heavens and give the heavens the supplications that I have. Guys, when your body is fit, you have energy to romance your wife. Look at you being surprised. And all the men said, hey, the downtown men just pray and just fast. Guys, when your body is fit, you can give your children more attention. Are you struggling to because your back is giving in? You can't even bend and play some Jenga with your kids because your back is giving in. When your body is fit, you don't have to pay Dr. Grace Rabut for her services. We love you. We love you, doctors. We love you, doctors. So let me tell you a story. I'm full of stories. Tell me when my time is up, because So, early this year, I traveled out of the country for work. I came back and my son, so I came back on a Friday. On Saturday was my son's swimming gala. Media team, do you have any of my slides? I am feeling like you are robbing me of the opportunity to brag. Okay, so I came back, I came on a Friday and the swimming gala was on a Saturday. And so I was jet lagged, guys, properly. My son, my 8-year-old son, informs me that, Mom, I entered your name in the swimming race. You're going to compete against other moms. I was like, the audacity. The guy doesn't ask me. And then I say, and Dad, we know him. He won't swim. Don't tell him when he comes next week. So he enters me in the race, and I'm like, I am properly, guys, I didn't have the capacity to be able to swim. But then, so he does this thing, and my son is generally not manipulative, but he does something that I think was low-key manipulative. He says, okay, if you don't want to swim, that's fine. But you know, my street cred is riding on you swimming. Manipulation one. Where are the layer facilitators? I need some help. So he tells me that, and my husband just pulls me aside. He's like, you have to swim. I was like, wow. So I swim, and with 3 other moms, or 4, the pool was 1, 2, 3. Maybe like, we were like 5 or 6, and I win. Media team, you're one term, guys. Mnani angusha. I have so many slides. I was jet lagged. Can you see? But I swam. That's the director of the school giving me a medal. So that's not even the story, by the way. Gosh. So the story is, I'm telling this story to somebody else, a parent who is about maybe in his like mid-ish kind of 40s, and I'm telling him about, I swam yesterday, but I'm so tired, I'm jet lagged, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, what? Are you serious? Then he tells me how he went to his son's sports day 2 months before that, and his son did the exact same thing. I think children are reading from the same script. His son did the same thing, and he told him, Dad, you have to run the relay with the dads. And so he said, okay, so I'll take it for the team. How hard is this thing? Let me tell you. You see the ambulances? The ambulances that are normally put because it's almost like a, by the way, you know nobody will need it. My friend, I will not name him because I think some of you know him. An ambulance was called, and that story was a wake-up call for him. Like, he literally was heaving. Hey, his chest had dislocated from its chambers. Tell your neighbor what you will be in life you are becoming right now. One of the most instructive pieces of information that I've had in the recent past is during the last gathering or the other gathering that Pastor M was speaking about, and he talks about this body, soul, spirit kind of thing. And he talks about how the spirit we know relates to spirituality and God. The body is this physical body that we have, and our soul is the emotions and our intellect and things like that. And how all of these are so connected to each other. Do you know, like the concepts of correlation and causation, all of them have a bearing with each other. And it says that there's a deep connection between a healthy body and a healthy mind, healthy emotions, and healthy decisions. There is a correlation among the 3 of them. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, our souls thrive when our bodies thrive. And that means we have to stop treating exercise like punishment. It's not payback for the pizza that you ate or for the ice cream that you overindulged in during the weekend. It's not even about impressing guys or girls about the beach body that you have. It's just having strength. It's being healthy to serve God a little bit longer. As I bring this message to a close, I want to give a few practical things because I know you're thinking, this is so much pressure. I've tried this before, it never lasts long. I don't have time. I don't have a gym subscription. I hate running. Let me tell you, I hate running as well. I legit hate running. And here's the good news. You don't need a gym. You just need to make a decision. So the first one is step goals. Step goals. You can use your phone or your smartwatch to track steps. My encouragement to you is try and start with 6,000 steps a day and then go to maybe 10,000 a day. That just means that instead of using the lift, you're using the stairs. It just means that you have to allocate at least an hour or two every day to do some steps. So Pastor Morathi and Pastor Carol, and with us, the executive team and their disciples, we were given an instruction. And the instruction was, you need to do at least 10,000 steps for 4 days in a week. 10,000 steps at least 4 times in a week. And if you don't hit your steps, you contribute 500 shillings to a party kitty. And it's just an amazing way. And then we have an app called the Step Up app, which we use to track our steps. So I can actually see today somebody has walked this amount and stuff like that. Okay, so that's my average daily steps in the month of August. And then my last 2 weeks steps, just, when you get the mic, you need to just say, August just started, and that's my... So because I had started earlier, my goal is to do 10,000 steps every day. Let me tell you guys, I work remotely. For you to do 10,000 steps every day, itabidi utafute. Because when I wake up in the morning, so I have my watch on. I wake up in the morning, I take a shower, I drop the kids to school, I come back and sit at my desk. I go to the kitchen to take something to eat, I come back, and I just do those rounds. At the end of that day, when I've just done those rounds, do you know how many steps I've gotten to? Ishi? 2,000. Yeah, 2, I know, right? It's hard to get to 10,000 steps. It means it must be deliberate. You have to carve out that time. But let me tell you, there's so much benefit. There's a statistic that I stumbled upon, and I might butcher it because I don't remember it accurately. But it was something in the lines of, if you do at least 3,500 steps daily, you have reduced your risk of dementia by at least 25 or 30%. Just 3,500 steps. You can look it up. It's somewhere in that range. But let me tell you, just moving is such an instructive thing for your health and for your body. Have you noticed that when people if you're confined to a wheelchair, for example, and maybe one leg is the leg that is not in use, have you noticed that it becomes weakened limb? The reason for that is something called muscle atrophy, because our bodies were designed to move. If you don't move them, you get to a stage of atrophying. And so the first thing, guys, is do your steps. Can we accept a challenge like that? What's fair? Pastor Nyamo, your people, do we say 4,000? At least 4,000? People are not boarding. People are not feeling my vibe. 6,000. Guys, let me tell you, you will enjoy. Oh, Pastor Nyamo, you have to lead by example. Guys, today I'm really getting into cancel culture territory. Can I say something controversial? Can I? Guys, you can't Ozempic your way into a healthy body. Let me say it to the people at the back. Guys, you can't Ozempic your way to a healthy body. Now, if you've never heard of the word Ozempic, Ozempic is a drug, a prescription drug that was originally used for folks with diabetes type 2, right? To manage sugar levels. However, doctors noticed an interesting trajectory with Ozempic, that it then leads to weight loss. It's now being used as a weight loss drug. Can I tell you the reality? You will lose 5 kgs or 10 kgs, but you will deny yourself the benefit of muscular energy. You will deny yourself the physical benefits of what exercise can do to your body. And the reason I'm saying I'm getting into cancel culture territory is because it's become very, very common. The influencer friend that you have has probably used it. Guy, will I be given a mic again? So here's the thing. At best, Ozempic has these side effects: nausea, diarrhea, constipation, and vomiting. At best, what is vomiting? If I lose 10 kgs, I can vomit, it's fine. At worst, Ozempic has effects like kidney problems, gallbladder issues, pancreatitis, and thyroid tumors. You know, you can lose immense weight, you can lose a lot of weight through this drastic means, but you miss out on the cardiovascular, on the muscular, on the mental health benefits that physical activity uniquely provides. Just turn to your neighbor, just slightly, and tell them you can't Ozempic your way to a healthy body. The second thing, and as we wind up, movement breaks. Movement breaks. Now, you know, it occurred to me how sedentary our life is. Like literally, everything that I need in the house is within arm's length. If I want food in the kitchen, I can just do this and get it. If I need to grab the keys and use the stairs and use the lift, because I'm not using the stairs, I just grab this and I get it. If I need to grab the keys to go down to the car, and literally everything is within arm's length. And so we live a highly, highly sedentary life, and our bodies were not created for that. Let me give a fun fact to women in particular, and maybe it's not so fun. But one of the facts that I stumbled upon maybe a year or so ago, an Indian doctor told me this. Do you understand that from the age of 30, your muscle mass begins to diminish? Have you ever wondered why majority of people who get osteoporosis or arthritis are women? And that's why if you have the ambition of gardening, Pastor Nyamo, you have to make sure that the arms are moving. Because let me tell you, generally, women's muscle mass diminishes. And that's why strength training is very important for women. Just doing this and flexing your muscle and moving it every day is very beneficial. Now, men have the benefit of having more muscle mass, and they are more defined naturally than women. I think the more defined man, the less defined man is not even where the more defined woman is, because men have that muscle capacity. And so for women, this is a fun, not so fun fact that you need to move, but not just moving. And I know we love, what is it called? Pilates and Zumba. I know we love one time, two time, and aerobics. But let me tell you, just buy one of these. Dr. Rabut helped me carry this from the kind. She was like, ooh, it's heavy. This one, sorry guys, I'm full of theatrics sometimes. This is only 2 kgs. And you can literally do a few things with your arms, You can raise this again. You can walk with it when you're going to walk, and it'll do wonders for you. You don't want to risk osteoporosis or arthritis because of that. So I want to encourage you, take some movement breaks. My watch was buzzing because I think it's every hour, like there's a buzz thing. So I know, okay, just start moving. Some people in Zoom calls will think, hey, what a strange woman. But you know what you are doing. You're just moving and you're counting your steps, because it really will be beneficial. So I want to encourage you to do that. The third thing, and we're just about to end, is home workouts. I love the fact that we live in an era that, to be honest, you don't need to pay for a gym subscription. You don't need to go to a gym. You literally just go on the YouTube tab and say, 10-minute workout for this, and you can get it. There are also apps that I remember using during COVID. There's so much in this day and age. And let me tell you the beauty of exercise. The beauty of exercise is something we call muscle memory. When you do it, your body rewards you by remembering that you did it. It means that the next time you do it, it won't be that difficult. And so just flex. You know, a couple of months ago, my brother, Pastor Godwin Mutai, and I hosted Fearless Summit. And when we were doing the prep, because I can hear you laughing. Are you laughing at me? Or with me? So we hosted Fearless Summit, and the theme for the summit was stronger. And so he sends me a video, and he says, why don't we attempt to do a 1-minute plank? And I'm like, why? And I was like, okay. And then we did, and then he said, as you're reading Psalms 23. I was like, why? Why are we doing this thing? But let me tell you, because of muscle memory, I literally remember just 2 years ago, I couldn't do 30 seconds of a plank. You know when you do a plank and then your stomach begins to tremble. and shake, and your arms just give way. We did this plank while reading Psalms 23, and let me tell you, I could go on for another minute, honestly, because of the beauty of muscle memory. Your body remembers, and it rewards you by that memory. The last thing that I want to say is find an exercise buddy. Let me tell you, me and my husband, let me tell you, this past week, our kids have been away. They've been at my grandparents' house. So my bro's kids and our kids are away for 2 weeks. Let me tell you, we are just floating like free radicals. It's a good life. Let me tell you, it's a good life. But that's not my point. My point is every evening, my husband and I go to Jaffrey's. And we just walk. And it's a brisk walk, like you feel, it's not just like it's a kind of walk. And you actually break a bit of a sweat. But that thing is so good. It's so good. Find somebody to do it with. If it's getting a gym instructor, because me, by the way, I have a gym instructor called George. And those people who I want to talk when I'm working out. So we'll go and I'll talk about politics, one term, and this and that, and what. And then as I'm doing the workout, and that just really, really helps me. So do something with someone, whether it's a brisk walk, a dance class, skipping rope, whatever it is. Develop a healthy workout system. Because the goal, guys, is not perfection. The goal is consistency. I want to leave you with one thing. So we've been reading through the Canonical Bible reading plan as a movement, and I've been so enthralled by everything that I was reading. We finished the book of Exodus, and I loved the character of Moses. I feel like I saw him in a way that I'd never seen him. And then we moved to the book of Deuteronomy. So Moses is this audacious leader. He's tentative initially. He's hesitant initially. But then God tells him, this mantle is yours. He was given this mantle of leadership at how old? 80 years old. And so he begins to lead the people of Israel. And in this audacious task, his task is to remove and take out from Egypt the Israelites, to remove them from slavery and bondage and subjugation. And he does that. He takes them to the wilderness, awaiting the promised land. Now it's interesting, in that interim, the Israelites are such a, would you want to lead the Israelites? They were a stiff-necked, they were a stubborn bunch of people. Now, I guarantee you that's the kind of flock of people that give you high blood pressure. But somehow Moses led the Israelites beautifully. And I think any leader, these are some principles you can even take out in the marketplace. There's some key leadership things that he did. And then Moses, it's his time to die. In the book of Deuteronomy 34:7, it says this. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak, nor his strength gone. Mavuno Church downtown, Moses died when his mission was complete, not when his body gave in. I want to leave that with you today. In the decisions that you're making about your health, I want you to go back to the YouTube page, see the things that you are ingesting. I had this in my pantry. It's non-alcoholic. Anybody want it? I stock a lot of Alvaro in my house because I have a friend who works at EABL. But this is a highly toxic drink. And so I'm gonna figure out a way of, and then when it's cold, Pastor Nyamo likes them cold. Do you want? And I repent. It's crisp and nice when it's cold. It's really nice. And it's actually chilled. I removed it from the fridge. But this substance is highly toxic. Alongside with this substance, we saw the amount of sugar that you're chugging every day you take a Coke. So on the day you take 3 Coca-Colas, my friend, this jar is full of sugar. It's bad. Guys, Moses died when his mission was complete. When his mission was complete, his body did not give in. We are told that his eyes were not weak and his strength was not gone at 120 years old. Please turn to your neighbor and tell them what you will be in life you are becoming right now.